think all of us can admit that we don't really walk around anywhere anymore. I think most of us either drive our cars or ride bikes or take the bus or, I don't know, take a train. But most days no one really walks around anymore. Everyone always uses a mode of transportation. And my quote says, "Walking is not a lost art. One must by some means get to the garage." And I think this is a way of kind of saying that like humanity now is very lazy. We'd rather drive or ride a bike or take a bus just to get out of walking somewhere. And I can definitely agree with this because even in my own life, I would rather not walk anywhere than, or I'd rather drive my car and like use emissions and like release emissions into the atmosphere rather than walk somewhere, which sounds horrible, but it's true. And I think a lot of us can agree that we do that. And for my first example, I will use driving, and I think that most of us in here, drive cars. So one can admit that you would rather drive a car than walk somewhere because nowadays things are a lot farther, spaced out. It takes me 20 minutes to drive here from my house, and I think it would take a lot longer to walk here than it would be to drive. So I can admit that I would much rather drive than walk here. And for my second example, I'm also going to use my own life, which is going to Disneyland. When I get to the parking lot of Disneyland, I would much rather wait in a long, long line to take a tram rather than walking from the parking lot through downtown Disney into Disneyland because I don't want to walk. I'm already going to be walking inside Disneyland. Why would I want to waste my time walking all the way over there just to be walking inside the park? And also with that, I would rather take the monorail inside downtown Disney just to save that walking time because it already drops you off into Disneyland. And in conclusion, I can honestly admit that I don't want to walk anywhere. I'm really lazy, and with my quote, "Walking is not a lost art. One must by some means get to the garage," I can totally agree with that because I'm lazy, and even walking to the garage or to my driveway is a lot of work.
All right, well, the introduction kind of uses this shared status that you think everybody's going to have the same background on. The transition to the topic is good. I think you've got a good interpretation of the quote. I do think you could use a preview because I'm not exactly sure where you're headed, although I know you're going to be walking wherever it is. Your material starts off pretty well, but it doesn't hold up because it seems to be a little repetitive. I mean, basically you're saying the same thing, just 2 or 3 different contexts. So I think you need to maybe look at it a little bit differently, maybe add something to make it develop a little bit more. Presentation issues, it's paced very well. I think that you have good energy while you're speaking. For the first minute, you've got your hands locked behind your back. That looked a little bit awkward. But after you loosened up for a while, then your gestures are much more expansive and engaged. Your facial expressions, I think, are very good during the presentation. You look like you're kind of enjoying what you're talking about. You appreciate some of the silliness that goes along with the dumb things that people do, and so emotionally I think things react there very well there. Eye contact's a little inconsistent though. You have an averted gaze, you kind of look at us out of the corners of your eyes, and you're frequently kind of looking up in the corners, and even though your facial expressions are engaged with us, your eye contact is not. And I think you'll notice that when you watch the video. See if you can recognize what I'm talking about when you see it. All right, and then like I said, at the end, it seemed like the ideas were a little repetitive, but you did have a pretty effective conclusion to the speech. So that's good. Thank you.